Welcome to the Daily Influence, where our mission is to deliver a daily dose of positive influence that can uplift you personally or be shared within your sphere of influence. While not every episode may directly apply to your unique circumstances, we strive to provide insights and inspiration relevant to most people's daily, weekly, and monthly lives. Whether you are tuning in during the morning, noon, or night, the Daily Influence is here for you. Listen, share, and embrace the power of influence in your life.
Hi, I'm Gregg Koleno with the I Am Team series, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Influence. Today we have with us Leticia Padilla. She's joining us to share a couple of stories from her life's experience of going from a negative to a positive. She's the founding member at Real Finance Group LLC, which is a certified WMBE. She supports and empowers small to mid-sized businesses, nonprofit organizations, and entrepreneurs. Leticia, it's so great to have you with us today. Thank you for joining us, and I'm so excited to hear your story.
Thank you so much for welcoming me into your podcast. I'm so excited and nervous, but just listening to you tell the summary of my introduction makes me very happy and grateful to what I'm about to talk about.
Great. Well, we're excited to hear your story. I know there are so many people out there that are going to benefit from this conversation. I was a negative person, and I've worked on myself a lot to become a more positive person. And I'm sure there are a lot of others out there. And so hearing your story and how you overcame your challenges is going to be really beneficial to our listeners. So thank you so much.
Well, 30 years is a lot to talk about, so I'm not sure how much time I have. But I guess the biggest gist of it is the bigger parts that turned my world around, I guess I want to say. It's not easy. I was about to say that my family migrated to Chicago in 74. And so it was 7 of us. It was, like many immigrants that trying to settle in Chicago was really challenging. I was born in 73, so I came in as a 6-month-old baby, really just trying to fit in and grow up to be somebody big. When you're a little girl, you want to do everything. But sometimes we grow up thinking we're not meant to be successful because our families were not successful. We had too many challenges. And so we're not taught on how to overcome those challenges. Trauma, we don't know how to manage the trauma and how to heal ourselves. We weren't taught to learn how to study, how to get grades. We didn't know any of that. And aside from that, the family dynamics, having to deal with relationships. How do you manage relationships? How do you set boundaries? How do you become a strong person? Nobody teaches that. You have to go through so much, to come out clean. So I did that. It wasn't easy, but I don't regret going through it because that is one reason why I'm here, and one of the reasons why I started my company 3 years ago. Growing up, like I said, there wasn't much support, much learning, much educating. So I pretty much, a lot of us say, and my generation say, we grew up on our own. We pretty much raised ourselves, right? I was a latchkey kid, and latchkey kids understand what I mean. So, no big deal. But when, you get through high school and then you go to college and you're on your own. And so where do you go for help? You don't know what the rules are in college. You don't know what the rules are with the government. You don't know what the rules are with dealing with businesses. So how do you get in? So I struggled over the years to barely make it through college, paying for college, getting a job, learning how to interview. So those were all the challenges in the society that kind of held me back. And the fear, so much fear and insecurity of, am I good enough? Am I good enough? But you know what? Throughout the entire time, from high school all the way to my undergrad and through my graduate school, so many teachers and complete strangers will tell me the smallest words of encouragement, just to tell me, I believe you can do it. They say, I see potential in you. You have something, just keep doing what you're wanting to do. And all these tiny little words, it was just a side comment. But to me, that comment lasted 4 years in college. Just one person told me that when I was in the worst situation where I don't know if I could do it, I'm giving up. No, the people right in front of you are not having faith in you. So a complete stranger to tell you you could do it, as a young person, you're like, oh, he must really know me then. But they don't know you. I understand that teachers saying, they tell you that so they don't give you up. But you don't realize it wasn't just bluff. To you, you took it to heart. So I took it to heart and I ran with it. It's like many of us, we marry early, and I had a very bad marriage that slowed me down in my career and in my personal life, my personal growth, my mental fitness, my physical fitness. So an abusive relationship was already, I felt like I was under a rock. I couldn't think or see anything past my hand. That's how bad it was. And I was already in my 30s, I didn't have children with my first marriage. And that type of abuse in our culture stems from being common and normalizing it. So I didn't think it was something that I had to fight against. I thought it was everybody goes through with it. And apparently I wasn't the only one that thought that. So it just makes me, it fuels more of the trying to find other women that went through it. So it wasn't until the death of my sister in 2006. I mean, imagine me under a rock trying to get out of a bad marriage. And then my sister is killed. And I lose all sense of existence. Time slowed down so fast, slowed down that for me, I mean, years kept on coming by and I still kept on thinking that my sister just died yesterday. So I couldn't move forward because I wasn't even finished mourning, because I was trying to get over the trauma of the abuse. And it wasn't until my sister passed that it gave me strength to leave everything else behind, because business-wise, professionally, my career was working very well. But then after my sister passed, I just said, the hell with it. That's not important. I need to come back home. I need to, be with my family and just make things, come back. Because I felt like I was disconnected because I just went off on trying to make my career. But then I jumped from one hole to another. And I lost my sister, and we all mourned differently. So my family kind of got split up. I was left alone again. So I was like in limbo. I was broke. I barely had anything to eat. I couldn't afford gas in my car. I was working almost 60 hours per week. I drowned in myself in work. I saw nothing. I didn't see anything coming up. I didn't even think, let me just better myself. No, I didn't even think that, because I wasn't surrounded by anybody giving me encouragement or any uplifting type of stories that say, hey, I went through that. I wasn't surrounded by anybody who had a clue of what had I gone through. And then I don't know what happened. It was a year or 2, 3 years before I met my husband, my current husband, and obviously somebody must have just handed him to me, because it's exactly what I needed. Very supportive. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have thought of the possibility of me going back to myself. And we tried to make a life together, and we attempted to have children. We were like, it's just you and me. That's all it is. So between me and him, we were just trying to trying to get through life. And after, we moved a lot because we couldn't find a place, and I couldn't find a good place to settle my career. It's just like so much was missing. And my husband and I we had everything between us. We had everything. We had our career, we had work, we had our home. Nothing was missing until, we were at the point where it would have been nice to have a child at our old age. by that time we were already 40. I was 40, he was 50. So it was very late in the game where we were like, we should try to have a kid or something, but we couldn't. That time my career was doing well and everything. I did, continue learning more skills, and I just didn't have a purpose still yet. And then 2 years before COVID, I want to say if it was 2 years, when was COVID? In 20? So in 18, my husband and I went to a very nice vacation just for me and him, that we didn't have a honeymoon. So we went on vacation. It was beautiful. We were at the best peace. We were at peace. We were relaxed, and it was at peace, even when we came back. But we still felt empty. And then all of a sudden, we met my son. We met my son at the hospital when we went to go visit my niece who was in chemo. And when we went to visit her, my niece was at the time 12 years old. And when we went to Rush Hospital to visit her, because she landed back in the hospital because of an infection. And when we came back from vacation, I told my husband, she's in the hospital, let's go visit her, because I spent hours and hours with her during her sickness. And when I was there, we ended up finding a little boy who was roaming the hallways. Turned out to be that he was, I kind of want to say, abandoned by his family. So my son was sick with kidney disease and under DCFS care. He was taken away from his original family because they weren't taking care of him. So DCFS took him under their care. And while we were there, my husband and I were asking, who's this little kid? What is he doing here? And the nurses are like, well, they're trying to find foster parents for him, because it's hard to find somebody who speaks Spanish and is able to take a sick child, because it's a huge commitment. And I said, well, can I have him? My husband was sitting next to me, and we didn't even have a conversation or nothing like that. We were just, visiting with my niece, and I said, well, can I have him? Like, can I take him home tonight? And she says, oh, well, I'll leave your number and stuff. So long story short, after that, we met the DCFS supervisor. We got our license application. They didn't even care that I had a license for fostering or not. They just said, when can you take them? I swear, I had an hour and a half conversation with DCFS just to make sure that I really wanted this. And I kept on asking, why do you keep asking me? Do I want them? I'm the one that asked for him. You guys don't have anybody for him, so just give them to me. So they're like, yes, so you still have to meet him, so to be sure that he wants to go with you. And I said, oh no, what if he doesn't like me? And things like that. So he was 12 years old at the time. And we went to go visit him in the hospital. He was skinny, short, long hair. He, just because of his disease, he was really malnourished. So he was very shy. But it turns out we got the call later when we got home. He said that he picked us. So I said, what? He really wants to come home with us? We told him we don't have money. We told him I have pets and, we have a small apartment. Like, we'll have to fit in. He's like, okay. So they said, can you pick him up next week? And I said, what? I have to make a room for him. I have to, buy a bed, and I have to buy 12-year-old people clothes. I don't know how to take care of a kid, so I thought they were going to investigate that. I don't have any kid experience, and that's why I was nervous. So we finally got him. 2 weeks later, I said, give me another week. Boy. So he came home, and it was literally a gift just handed to us. And then I find out the calculation. I said, well, my son was 12, and he was born in 2006. The same year my sister died. So I thought maybe it was I'm sorry, I don't know, from the universe, So I said, I'll take it. If I would have had a baby in 2006, he would have been 12 anyway, So my husband and I kind of saw it that way. Well, they took away someone I love and replaced it with someone who's going to love me. So I said, okay, I'll take it. And then it's like your whole life changes. And I don't know how real birth mothers feel when they have kids, but when I had my son and he was loving me like a normal child would love his mom, I thought to myself, this is how it feels. This is how women feel. And I'm like, can't they sell this like in a can? It was amazing. And I mean, now I understand all those women that used to sacrifice for their kids, or they would call in work because their kid is sick, or because they need to pick them up from school. I mean, I would have killed people for my son. Don't tell the cops. I mean, I would have done anything for him. And I did. I did everything for him. And he knows it. And that's the thing. Not every kid realizes what their parents do, but because my son was at the place that he was at, almost lost with no hope, he thought he was going to die, you know? He was not feeling good. We brought him home. My husband and I just dedicated our entire lives trying to make him better so he doesn't have to suffer. He had to take dialysis 3 times a week. He missed school so much that he was so behind. He was at a 6th grade level and he was in 8th grade. You know what I mean? So I homeschooled him a lot in addition to taking him to school. I tried to teach him English. He learned English. And then my husband is, he's pretty religious. So all he did was pray for a new kidney. And I was already ready to get my kidney, and I was approved that I matched him. So I said, okay, cut it out. Let's put it in him. Let's do it right now. But then one of my best friends said, Letty, if you go through surgery and you don't come out good, because you're already not, you're not going to be able to take care of him if you get sick. And I was like, oh, I never thought of that. So I said, oh, shoot. I said, I can't give him my kidney. And then, oh my God, I started crying. I was like, it's never going to happen. And, but then, a coworker would always just encourage me, things will happen. You got him for a reason. So something will work. Something will work out, either from your trying or the universe just trying and the doctors and everybody. So I said, okay. And then the month that COVID started, the month before COVID started, it was in February of 2020, I get the call that he has a new kidney waiting for him. And so we ran to the hospital and he got his kidney. And it was the whole different feeling. It's like all these emotions and all this gratitude. Like, why us? Why am I getting so lucky? I'm getting so lucky with all these great things that happen after so many bad things that happened to me growing up and bad decisions that I made. All of a sudden, all this good stuff is happening. And I'm thinking, well, I never really gave up. I just kept on going. Because there has to be something good for the reason that we're all here. We're all here for a purpose. And, it sounds kind of, but it's true. Because it wasn't until after that I felt, well, okay, I helped him. I helped my niece. I helped all, and then somebody pointed it out, Letty, you helped this person, you helped this person, you helped this person. But just by just doing the littlest things, not just encouragement, but a little bit of hand holding. Just some people feel alone. So if you're just through a couple of steps with them, they kind of walk off on their own. And that's what I've done with so many people that have crossed my path. And it's because they ask for help. But if you don't ask for help, how are we going to understand that you're in need of help? I never got help because I never asked for it when I was going through my bad years. I never asked for it because that's a different story. But, I didn't realize, there's shame and there's embarrassment. So no matter what, I've met several women since then that have gone through the same thing. And I'm afraid that there's too many out there already in hiding and still in hiding. So how do you find them just to try to get them out? It's not that they don't want to get out of it. They just don't know how. So the fact that all of that I went through, all the surgeries and pain that my son went through. Everyone is here for a purpose, and we just need each other to be able to make that come to light for one another. It's been something else, and now he's 18, graduating from high school, speaks English, he works, he drives, he has the best work ethic in the universe. I didn't raise him like since he was a baby, but I know I instilled a lot of myself in him, but I tried to give him as much freedom for him to create his own life. And I just hope that when he gets older, I made his life happy and as easy as I possibly could. But who wants an easy life? Otherwise, you don't learn much, you know?
That's very true.
And so now I started my new company when he got his kidney, because I said, he's going to need another kidney in 10 years. So if he needs another kidney in 10 years, I need to make sure he's secure. So I said, these side jobs, these employer jobs are killing me. I'm not making what I'm worth. So I said, I need to start my own business. So I started my own business. I said, I got to get going. I'm getting old. I gotta start planning. So I'm financially planning everything to make sure that he's good when I'm gone. And then in that journey, I found out new things about myself. I'm just reinventing myself now. My son is good, everything's good, my husband's good, the house is okay, I'm kind of okay, but I'm not happy because I still feel like there's too much purpose for me still to do. So now I'm with my company, I'm trying to reach these women who want to do their own future. They want to take over their own financial future, whether it's doing their taxes, or whether it's learning a new skill, whether it's mentoring, or just learning or getting a job. I think the mentoring and the empowerment of new business owners is because they're already ready to take their life to a new level. They're ready. They've already done everything. So they're not half-assing. And they're not half doing anything, So once they come to me and say, Letty, I'm ready to start my business. Okay. I don't even question, are you sure? No, I don't do that. They came to me because they know that what they're asking for. So it's a 24-hour job being your own business owner. And if while you're making a little bit of money on the side, you can help somebody make their own money, and then they'll have you to be grateful for. And that's the impact that I want to be able to be sharing with everybody.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your story and opening up with us. There are so many amazing takeaways that you shared with us today. If I were to sum it up, you took the high road. You persevered. You never gave up. You took those small words of encouragement that someone gave you many years ago and kept that deep within you and used that as your power to keep pushing through all the hardship. And it really shows to us taking the high road, being a good person, not giving up. You will persevere. You will be able to help others. No bigger reward in this world than helping others. What a wonderful thing you did, helping your son have a chance at life and a family, and your friends and other women that you're helping now. We are so lucky to have you on this earth and the positive influence that you've had on so many people. In just a short period of time of getting to know you, you've had such a positive influence on me, and I'm so grateful for you. And I'm so grateful that you joined us today. If people wanted to get in touch with you, what would be the best way that they can do that?
I'm a big email person, so email has always been the best one because I live and die by my email. It's Leticia Padilla at realfinancegroup.com.
Thank you, Leticia, for joining us today. And thank you, everyone else, for joining us on another episode of The Daily Influence. If you're interested in sharing your story, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. I hope you have a great, positive day.